Hello, good day. This is the session on diet counseling for patients with hyperlipidemia. So what does hyperlipidemia consist of? Two kinds. One is hypercholesterolemia, and the second kind is high TG. So what is LDL and HDL? To set the foundations of this talk, LDL is low density lipoproteins, and what happens is that LDL will bring cholesterol from the liver and deposit it over the arteries. Over the long term, this can cause atherosclerosis, which is linked to cardiovascular diseases. In contrast, high-density lipoprotein, or HDL, is also called the good cholesterol. It brings the cholesterol deposits from the blood vessels over to the liver to be secreted out in the bile juice and eliminated through the digestive tract. In our diet, there are three main kinds of fat, which is saturated fat, which can increase the bad cholesterol and increase TG. Trans fat, which increases LDL, decreases the good cholesterol HDL, and also increase TG. Whereas cholesterol contains both types of LDL and HDL. Smoking increases triglycerides and lowers HDL. Taking excess sugar and sugar-sweetened beverages can increase TG. A high intake of alcohol can also increase TG. What are the normal lab limits? Normal lab limits for total cholesterol is 5.2 millimole or 200 milligrams. LDL cholesterol limits are 3.3 millimole, 30 milligram. HDL cholesterol is more than 1.0 millimole or greater than 40 milligrams. These are the good cholesterol, so we actually want it higher. In the forms of dietary advice, foods to reduce. How do we reduce saturated fat in our diet? One is to cut down on fatty meat intake. Two, to select lower fat content milk. Plant sources of saturated fat which are higher include coconut milk as well as palm oil. And when we are purchasing our groceries, we can opt for leaner cuts of meat or remove the skin during the food preparation process. Trans fats are present in fried foods, margarine added products because it adds that flaky feeling to pastries, but it's actually high in trans fats, and also non-dairy coffee creamer. Cholesterol is only present in animal products such as meat and eggs. Animal products high in cholesterol include organ meat or fowl or shellfish. Now we go a little bit deeper on trans fat. Trans fat, as mentioned earlier, it increases the LDL cholesterol and lowers the HDL cholesterol. This can increase the risk of cardiovascular diseases. Therefore, it is important to minimize or eliminate it from the diet. Trans fat are found in processed snacks, fried foods, and commercially baked goods, and because it is present in shortenings used. We can read food labels and avoid products containing partially hydrogenated oils. Food products labeled trans fat free legally can contain less than 5 mg of trans fat. How do we avoid trans fat? One, by opting healthy cooking at home, using baking, grilling, or steaming instead of deep frying, and two, opting for fresh whole foods instead of processed foods. As you can see, in Singapore, since June 2021, when the negative effects of trans fat or partially hydrogenated oils has been highlighted, Singapore has a ban on the use of partially hydrogenated oils or trans fats. What foods to include then in our healthy diet? One, to include fruits and vegetables. The fiber, antioxidants and vitamins promote heart health, and the fiber, which we will mention later, helps as well. Whole grains are better compared to refined grains because excessive consumption of refined grains gets converted into triglycerides. Opt for lean protein sources such as skinless poultry, fish, legumes, or low-fat dairy. Omega-3 rich foods help to improve cholesterol levels, and omega-3 rich foods such as salmon, tuna, and mackerel have anti-inflammatory properties and promote heart health. Soluble fiber helps to bind cholesterol and bring it out of our digestive tract. And a good example of a food containing high soluble fiber is oats. Stanols and sterols are plant compounds found in vegetable oils, grains, and legumes, and they help lower LDL cholesterol by interfering with the cholesterol absorption. A little bit about omega-3 and 6. Omega-3 fatty acids are essential for heart health, in reducing inflammation and supporting brain function. They are found in fatty fish, walnuts, flax seeds, and chia seeds. Omega-6 also play a role in maintaining good health, but excessive consumption of omega-6, which is currently the trend in a Western-centric diet, because it's not just the sheer amounts itself, it works on a ratio basis. Ideal omega-6 to 3 ratio should be ideally less than 4 to 1. However, current Western diets and modern diets, the ratios are much higher, 15 to 1, and this induces inflammation in the body. We know that HDL is a good cholesterol. It brings out the cholesterol from the bloodstream to be eliminated. What can we do to increase HDL? There are a few ways to do that. 1, increase our amount of exercise. 2, quit smoking. 3, reduce trans fat in our diet. 4, weight loss. 4, anthocyanins, which is naturally occurring colors in the food, such as brightly colored fruits such as bell peppers. Cooking with olive oil, and also having a low carb diet. When we're eating out, there are a few pointers here. 1 is to select restaurants with a healthier menu, and also choosing food preparation options that do not include deep frying. You can practice portion control by adhering to the healthy plate. And 2, when you are asking, for example, when you go and you have a Western kind of meal, instead of deep fried French fries, you can opt for extra salad. In summary, a diet for patients with hyperlipidemia should focus on avoiding saturated fat, trans fat, and high cholesterol foods, and include more fiber, vegetables in your diet, and less refined foods. With that, you can encourage your patients to adopt a healthier hyperlipidemia diet. Thank you.